On the floor. Floor I love to dance, so give me more. More till I can't stand get on the floor. Floor like it's your last chance if you want more. More than here I am.
Hey there, my lovely Foodie Beauties! Don't you hate when you put ice in the freezer and it takes forever to get cold? And I'm having Diet Pepsi. Without ice, this is not possible. So, yeah. Okay, pizza. Pretty much all veggies. It has vegan cheese on it, which I'm trying for the first time. Pizza recently is the only pizza place I know that has vegan cheese. So I'm gonna try this out with you guys. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I tell a paranormal story? So it's like paranormal pizza kind of thing, you know? Because I was talking with my mom the other day about, did they even cut it? Okay, they did. This is just a small honey mustard and marinara. The creamy garlic has more calories. I love honey mustard. I was talking with my mom the other day, and we were talking about, on my dad's side, like my dad's mom, my grandmother, she passed away a few years ago anyways, and so did my grandfather on that side. I have a feeling the cheese is going to be weird. Let's give it a try first. Beauty bite. It doesn't taste bad. You don't really taste it. They didn't put a lot. So I have onions, olives, sun-dried tomatoes, spinach, green pepper. It doesn't taste bad, but it's like, the texture is kind of gluey. I should have just got no cheese. I love sun-dried tomatoes and olives. So, for the 8th time, I was talking to my mother about my grandmother, about how she used to babysit me and stuff. The home she used to live in. So it always made me think of that. I remember when I was younger and I'd be there, and my aunt would be there, her daughter, and she'd tell her, you know, oh, I heard it again in the basement. She'd tell her things that she heard or saw, and my aunt would just brush them off as, oh, you're just being silly, Mom, you're hearing things, or you know what I mean? But when I got older, and I was there one day visiting, she told me a couple of things that happened to her in that home. The home was a duplex. It was like an older duplex. I don't know, maybe built in the 70s. Somebody lived upstairs and she lived on the bottom. I think next time I get pizza, I'm just gonna get no cheese. Veggies on bread. I love it. Whenever I would go over there, you come in the front door. Not the front door, there's the front door, and then around the side there's a side door. We would always go in on the side door. And when you first walk in, on your left there would be a door going up to her kitchen, and on your right, stairs going down into the basement. And the way the wall in front was, there was a wall, and then there's like a little bottom piece where you could see into the basement. And the basement was just always pitch dark. It was your typical creepy, dark basement, unfinished. The only thing she went down there for was laundry. I personally have never gone down there. I think as human beings, I mean, we all know that we all have the ability to trust our gut instincts. And just every time I would enter the home and look briefly for those moments, years and years of looking briefly at that dark basement, I always got the same feeling when I would enter that home, that just it was eerie. It was an eerie, foreboding feeling. It wasn't a welcoming feeling. Almost like the feeling you would get in a funeral home. You ever get that? I don't know how to explain it. It's just a feeling I get. It's actually really good. The main reason I did this is because somebody told me they had vegan cheese now and wanted to see a mukbang of it. Yeah, I'll do that. Don't gotta twist my arm! So anyways, not greasy at all. So her apartment was a 3-bedroom. She had her bedroom. There was always something odd about the apartment on like a construction level. I don't know. The bedrooms were always all on the same side of the wall, like on the same side of the apartment. Bing, bang, boom. Her bedroom gave me a weird feeling. The middle bedroom where I used to stay was alright. It was my aunt's old bedroom. And in the furthest bedroom, the spare room, I don't know what I really don't remember what they kept in that room. There was a big bed. It was a huge bed with a really old-fashioned headboard. And that room was just always so freezing compared to the rest of the house. And she just didn't want me to go in there. She always kept the door closed. But once in a while, I would sneak. So one day, this was shortly after her husband had passed away, my grandfather. We used to call him Bon. It was French. And he used to just sit at the table all day. My mom used to say, she used to call him Bon because he was French and he'd always say, Bon, which means like, all right, kind of thing in English, you know? I think that's how it translates to. It's a French saying. I don't know about Parisian, proper French, but the kind of French where I was from. So I remember sitting at the table with my grandmother after he had passed away, and she was talking about him. And she told me that she saw him. He came to her. She was in bed, in the bedroom, and she just saw him just walk across the room. He was see-through, you know. She just saw him walk across the room. And she just said it so calmly. Whenever grieving loved ones hear or see loved ones after passing, I always question, my skeptical mind questions those things because the mind is a powerful thing. And what if it's just grief trying to deal with closure or something? You know what I mean? It's just our way of, we're hallucinating things. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. It's mysterious, but that's what she told me. And then another night he came to her and told her he was alright, he was in heaven, and he loved her. Her other daughter, my other aunt, said shortly after he passed away, she was driving, and in her rearview mirror, in the back seat, she saw a halo. Again, is it the mind? Who knows what it is, right? There's still no explanation for that after all these years in the history of humanity. The afterlife is something that obviously is still very enigmatic to us. That wasn't so bad. But then she told me about the basement story. You know, one thing led to another, and we started on the topic of ghosts, you know, and I said, Grandma, speaking of which, you know, remember when I was younger and you were telling Aunt Anne about things that happened to you? Can you tell me some of those things? I'm interested. And she didn't want to scare me, and I told her, I'm fine, I love this stuff, you know? And I think one of the reasons I love this stuff is it fascinates me to know that humans, we experience these things, but we don't know what they are. Because I'm so afraid of death, it kind of gives you hope that there's an afterlife, you know what I mean? And that we will be reunited with the people we love, because that comfort is important, you know? And I think when my grandmother saw him after, she was probably elated. She was probably happy because there's hope for her. I think we all need that comfort and that hope that someday we're going to see the ones that passed on, because the thought of never seeing somebody that you're so emotionally attached to is just heart-wrenching. It's just harrowing. It's heartbreaking. It's whatever you want to call it. It's raining outside. Perfect time for this. I keep looking in the back and I just picture like curtains moving. Anyway, so the basement story was basically, and this is really creepy. She has to go down there to do the laundry. That's inevitable. So she turns on the light and just kind of sucks it up. She went down there to put the laundry in the wash or whatever. There's a whole bunch of shit down there, you know? Boxes, old furniture, chairs. Now, the washer's there, she said, and just across here in the corner, there was a chair. And on the chair, there was like a white cover over this chair. She looked at it, and it kind of looked like someone was sitting, like it kind of looked like a humanoid shape underneath the cover sitting on the chair. But she just shrugged it off as being like a heap of clothes or something underneath that made it look like that, you know? But like me, a part of her, while she was doing the laundry and had her back to the thing, always had that feeling in her gut that something wasn't right. So she finished putting the laundry in the wash, started the machine, went to walk away, and just had to look. She took one last look, looked back, and the heap was gone. There was just the cover on the chair, covering the chair, but no humanoid lump. That was freak the fuck out of me. I would be like, oh my god. I love mustard. I cannot even, when she told me that, I got chills, and it didn't even want to enter the house on the side door anymore. I remember there being a fire there. My dad, like I didn't see him often, but I saw him more when I was younger. Every time I would visit him, he would bring me to her house to see her. She was always asking about me. I wish I was closer to her, you know? I had regret about that when she passed away and I was at the funeral and I was bawling and bawling. And her other grandchildren weren't crying, and I thought that was weird, but they were all looking at me like, why are you sad? You saw her way less than we did. I know they were thinking it, you know? I think it's just a regret. I really didn't bring enough joy into her life, and I sometimes I feel very guilty. And I feel guilty about that, like with just regular family in my life or friends that are close to me, and I just feel like sometimes I don't have enough of me to just give. Like sometimes I just don't want to, and you never know when it's gonna be too late and when it will be the last time that you see these people, and it's just, you know, yeah, so there was like a fire at that place, and my dad told me that she had been sleeping. He told me that she left the stove on because as she was getting up there in age, they started thinking that she's losing her mind a bit. So she left the stove on and the element caught fire. But it's like, they didn't really look into, like, it wasn't like a huge fire, like she woke up, you know, from the smoke or whatever and was able to put it out or get help in time. I don't really remember exactly what happened after that. But the thing is, she told me later, she was sleeping and the stove was not on when she went to bed. She was sure of that. So, I mean, how does I don't know, will an element catch fire if there's nothing on it? If it's on, wouldn't it have to be on? Like, why would she leave the element on full blast, you know? So she's saying when she came out, when she realized there was a fire, that the element, the knob for the element showing that it wasn't on, it was just on fire. I don't know. She swears up and down it wasn't her. I don't know. So, this is weird. It's kind of sad no one believed her and everyone just thought she was crazy in her family. Or at least they were dismissive about it, you know? So, this was very delicious. So whenever I want pizza, the vegan cheese, the more I ate it, I got used to the texture. It's a bit gluey, not stretchy and stringy like normal cheese, but it's not greasy, and I like that. I ate an entire small pizza. I know it looks big from this angle, but it's just a small personal pizza or whatever. Thin crust. Normally if I eat this, if it was like pepperoni and cheese, I would feel really sick because of the grease. So that's a good alternative. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. So I don't know, it just was one of those weird things that when I was thinking about it, you know, when I was talking about it with my mom, it just reminded me of these little stories. And I guess I never really thought of it before because a part of me did also think, well, it's just an elderly woman telling stories. You know, it could be her imagination. You know, she was becoming very confused near the end of her life. It's just one of those things. Yeah, and I really hope you enjoy watching. I know there's some people who probably don't enjoy watching, and that's fine. I'm doing these videos for the people who love it. People who watch me, like you guys message me and you send me Snapchats and you say, looking forward to your video. I do it for you guys. Thank you for listening. Pizza, pizza! They must be making hella profits off me, huh? Talk to you guys later. Bye, Foodie Beauties. Please subscribe. Bye. When you're riding in an Uber and you feel something itchy, gonorrhea. Gonorrhea!